Hello everyone. My name is Abdullah Alqushayri. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I just received my doctorate degree in educational leadership, concentration in Keto 12 administration from Tennessee State University. First, I would like to thank the Applied Research International Conferences for this opportunity. So my topic titled The Impact of Transformational Leaders on Improving Public Schools in Saudi Arabia. So as a quick brief, this quantitative study was to investigate the impact of transformational educational leaders on improving the public school system in Saudi Arabia. So the education system in Saudi Arabia made extensive reforms in educational policy related to curricula, assessment, professional development for teachers. Also, Saudi Arabia committed before the UNESCO regarding sustainable development and education. So the background of the problem here is justified of the need to adopt a creative leadership model that may contribute to a long-term goals. And here the problem of the study because of the concept of transformational leadership and its role in the improvement. There are continued demands to continue the approach of development school in Saudi Arabia according with its Vision 2030. So the purpose of the study is very similar to the problem because they are both aligned to investigate the impact of transformational educational leaders on the improvement. So that will be relation to the dimensions of transformational leadership that include school improvement, aspirational motivation, and empowerment. And here the significance of the study aims to shed light of transformational leadership style as one of the modern trends in leadership and that it could contribute to the improvement in the field of education and provided tools for leaders and help the decision makers in the Ministry of Education to advance the policy school system. So the theoretical framework in my study used the transformational theory of leadership, and it focused on the influence and aspirational and intellectual stimulation for creativity. And my research questions that guided this study, how can transformational educational leaders improve the public school system in Saudi Arabia? And the second one, can transformational leadership achieve Vision 2030 and obtain an advanced rating in global standards of educational attainment through the development of educational curricula by strengthening the role of teachers and measuring the level of educational outcomes? How can transformational leadership transform educational setting to a more student-centered environment that improves students' academic and social skills in Saudi Arabia's school system? So with the hypothesis, I use the null hypothesis because it's the relevant analysis for the research questions. And it can be concluded for if or not there is an impact of transformational educational leaders on improving the public school system. And the limitation of the study, it was in Najran. Najran, it's a city in Saudi Arabia to represent Saudi public school during 2024 educational leadership. So in the literature review, I addressed the history of Saudi Arabia. So since the founding of the Department of Education in 1924, and many achievements have happened back then, such as free education at all levels, increased the primary school enrollment to 99%, educational programs available for both genders, and decrease the literacy rate. So the Vision 2030 now making a huge jump in every aspect of the country, including the education, in order to meet the global standard by the year 2030 to year 2030. To do that, it's necessary to determine the most effective methods that transform the Saudi school system. So here, the 5 stages of transformational leadership theory. As a quick, it appeared for the first time in 1973 by James Downton. He was the first to coin the term. And in 1978 by James Burns, it coins as a leadership styles where a leader inspires followers to identify the areas of change. And in 1985, Bass developed theory of transformational leadership, and in 1999 and in 1990, Bass developed models and training programs, and in 1999, the 5th dimension of empowerment was added by Avolio, Rafferty, and Griffin. So here, the transformational leadership areas that relevant to this study. And here the philosophy of the Saudi educational system regarding the features of thinking is evident through these elements. So the study designed to use the study quantitative descriptive method and the survey questionnaire in order to arrive at the studied phenomenon. And the sample, in the sample population, there were 348 school leaders in this population in Najran city. So the director of development department distributed the questionnaires electronically to the principal of the school, and by referred to Google Drive, a simple random sample of 116 leaders was selected, and the total number of the study samples was 100 responses, and the weight of the questionnaire was 16 incompletely answered. And the instrument that I used to collect the data was a survey questionnaire of the 5-point Likert scale, consists of strongly agree to strongly disagree. So the validation process of the questionnaire have completed. As you see in table 1, indicated that all of these dimensions have internal consistency validity related to the impact of transformational educational leaders on the school improvement, and it was significance value range between 0.649 and 0.738 degrees. And regarding to the reliability, I used Cronbach alpha, and here in table 2 demonstrated values of Cronbach alpha reliability coefficients for the 3 dimensions. So where high values, and the total reliability was 0.924. This indicated that the questionnaire has a high degree of reliability. And here the necessary measures were taken for the data collection process, such as facilitating letters and IRB approval from TSU. And for the analysis, the data was transferred into the SPSS in order to answer through the arithmetic means and the standard deviation frequencies, percentage, and person R. So here, chapter 4, I'm going to present the results that obtained from the study. So here the survey items with the first dimension, school improvement. I used the arithmetic means and the standard deviation for the responses to each statement. So the majority of participants responded with a high degree of approval regarding the impact of transformational leaders on improving the public school. And in the second dimension, inspirational motivation, the majority of participants agreed that transformational leaders impact inspirational motivation to achieve Vision 2030 and obtain an advanced rating in a global standard. And in the third dimension's empowerment, the majority of participants responded with the high degree approval regarding the impact of transformational leaders on improving educational environment, focusing more on students and enhancing students' academic and social skills in the school system. And regarding to the hypothesis test, I used simple linear regression test. So in table 6 presented a strong correlation between transformational educational leaders and improving the school system. So the impact explains approximately 61.3% of the variation in school improvement. So the null hypothesis was rejected, and accept the alternative hypothesis. There is an effect of transformational educational leaders on improving the public school system in Saudi Arabia. And the second null hypothesis was also rejected, and accept the alternative hypothesis. So the impact explains approximately 58.6% of the variation in improving the school system through curriculum development, enhancing the role of teachers, and measuring educational outcomes. Also, the third null hypothesis was rejected, and accepted the alternative hypothesis. So the impact explains approximately 60.1% of the variation in improving the school system through enhancing the students' academic and social skills. So the finding provided high arithmetic means and variation in responses across different dimensions, such as school improvement, inspirational motivation, empowerment, curriculum development, teacher enhancement, and measuring educational outcomes. These results provided a clear, statistically significant effect transformational educational leaders in advancing the Saudi Arabia Vision 2030 and achieving global educational standards. Also, the findings tell that the role of transformational educational leaders is important in shaping the future of education in Saudi Arabia and contributing to improve the school system and educational outcomes. So in Chapter 5, offering a clear understanding of research outcomes and recommendations to achieve the study objectives. So I want to explain the findings that related to the first question. So the arithmetic mean of the responses of the study sample to the statement regarding the school improvement dimensions was 3.72 with a standard deviation of 0.141, so that was high range. And the findings that related to the second question regarding the inspirational motivation dimension, it was 3.80 with a standard deviation of 1.151, that was a high range too. So the findings that related to the third question regarding the empowerment dimensions, it was 3.76 with a standard deviation of 1.144. So it was a high range too. And here to discuss the finding that related to the first questions, the result shows that the transformational leaders demonstrated outstanding performance in enhancing school and learning environment and gathering information before making decisions, suggesting that their decisions are based on ethical informed foundations. And to discuss the findings that related to the second questions, the findings indicated that the transformational leaders provide effective support to teacher and staff in Najran schools, and they guarantee that students' outcomes align with the educational objectives and the standards in the kingdom. Also, the study participants agreed that transformational leaders adopt a strategic approach by evaluating their school's need and developing a comprehensive action plan to achieve the goals of Vision 2030. And to discuss the findings that related to the third questions, the sample participant perceived that transformational leaders play a significant role in improving the school environment and collaborate with the teachers to provide support and activities that aid in the development of students' social skills. So, this study concluded by emphasizing that transformational educational leaders represented a fundamental factor in improving the school system in Saudi Arabia. So, based on the study results, several recommendations can be summarized. There is a need to enhance the development of educational leaders' skills to ensure they stand ready to guide the schools toward achieving the goals of the Vision 2030 national agenda. Also, a student-centered approach should be implemented with the public schools. Lastly, there is a need to enhance performance assessment and regular measurement of improvements in the school system to ensure continuous development and improvement. Thank you.